somebody's made a point of view. I disagree with that point of view. What do I go about doing to refute their statement?
I think the first step is to start with the two burdens. So when we disagree with someone, and when we're trying to dismantle an argument, those two provide very natural opening points. The first is, do you think what they're saying is true? And if not, you have a kind of truth objection. Or do you think what they've said is just not enough to change someone's mind or your behavior? And then you have an importance objection. So I think the first is to know where you're aiming. And once you have that, you can kind of construct an argument in reverse. So what is the objection you're making? Why is that true? When has that happened before? Who cares about that? Same structure for the argument, I think, can help. And then the last little dynamic that we haven't spoken about yet that is important in rebuttal is, I used to have a high school coach who, we thought he was a very aggressive speaker, and he was a big rugby player, was talking about getting hit with the biggest people to get the hardest and so on. And we thought he was, just kind of a bulldozer, really. But one of the things that he taught me and that made me see what he was doing in a really different way was he said, no amount of no is going to get you to a yes, which is critique itself is not enough to answer the bigger question in the debate, right? So imagine where there's a disagreement about who we should be hiring, and the person on the other side has objections to every individual candidate, right?
Okay.
Being able to turn around and say, well, what do you think? So at the end of all that criticism, what's the positive suggestion? I think flipping the rebuttal right at the end and saying, so we've seen how that doesn't work, but here's something else, an alternative, something that can take the place of the argument that you've just destroyed. I think that's the last step in effective rebuttal. So the first is take your aim. Second is work through developing an actual argument. And then finally, supply an alternative.